What is good, YouTube? My name is George. Welcome to another episode of School's Out. In this video, I am going to be going over, in my opinion, the 5 easiest fakie tricks. I know I'm talking about these tricks as if they're just totally easy, but don't get discouraged. You do, like, this is skateboarding. It's gonna be hard, but if you just get out there, keep trying, like, visualize these tips that I'm telling you, work with your body, figure out what you're doing wrong. These tricks will come to you, and you'll be stoked. Fakie is an absolutely beautiful stance. The way you have to finesse and tweak your weight in order to do certain tricks is so much fun, and it is definitely a stance worth exploring. You're kind of rolling backwards, but you're still popping with your normal foot, so it's not quite as difficult as switch or nollie. Before I continue, if you are a subscriber who saw my previous video just a few days ago, you're probably wondering, what the hell? I thought you were doing videos only on Fridays now. My new video schedule is every Friday. I actually had this idea that at the last Monday of every month, I will do one of these purely skate, simple, straightforward videos. I feel like I've built up a lot of skate wisdom. I've been skating for like 13, 14 years now. I think these 5 trick videos really get a lot of my wisdom out and teach you a lot of tricks at once. I get immensely good feedback on them, and I think I get it. You know, when you're seeing this video, what it's about is giving you that little spark of confidence in order to take your skateboard to the skate park and try a new trick. If I can do that, that's a beautiful thing, because that's helping you progress. And you know what my channel has really become is just about my progress in life, but you know, that pure skateboarding element of it is still there. And so whatever happens, on the last Monday of every month, I will be doing a video like this. The reason I shifted to once a week is because it takes me upwards of 15 hours to edit a vlog. So these are going to be purposely quick for me to make. I'm gonna film them super simple, just tell you what I need to tell you and chop it together quickly, because it's about conveying information to you. It doesn't need to be edited in a fancy way. With that said, let's get into the video. Actually, yesterday is when I filmed all the tricks over at Thomas Green Park. I believe the locals call it Douglas, and it was a good vibe over there. My friend Will pulled up. This list is they are going to start out easy and get progressively harder. This first one, if you know how to do an ollie, you should be able to do this one probably first try, and it is the Fakie Ollie. So for me, I have all these mental tricks that I do to learn fakie tricks, and here's how I think about the Fakie Ollie. It is literally just an ollie, but you happen to be going backwards. So think about this for a second. So when you're doing a stationary ollie, you are nice, centered, and square over the board. You pop down on your tail, and then you perfectly level out and put both feet down at the same time. If you're stationary, a regular ollie is the same as a fakie ollie. So you can even stand still on your board, envision yourself rolling fakie, and just do the normal ollie process. And then just transfer that mindset to when you're actually rolling fakie. Just look square over the board and do exactly the ollie that you know how to do, only this time you're rolling fakie, and it has a new name. It's the Fakie Ollie. Not every fakie trick is like this. Sometimes when you're rolling fakie, it does completely change the trick, but a lot of the times you can just envision the normal trick and almost like pretend you're going stationary, if that makes sense. And just that mental hack can actually fix your weight, because a lot of people when doing fakie tricks have this tendency to lean over the nose too much. But if you think about your normal ollie, you're not just totally leaned over the tail. You're perfectly level. You balance out that ollie, and it's the same thing fakie. As soon as you pop, you got to shift your weight back in order to level out the skateboard. Next up is the Fakie Shove-it, actually arguably even easier than the Fakie Ollie. And now we're specifically talking about the Fakie backside Shove-it. I just want to point out that I totally suck at Fakie frontside Shove-it. It was honestly a struggle just to land one to show you guys. Anyways, Fakie backside Shove-it. The reason this trick is so easy, one, you have such a good view of the board, so you can literally just watch it rotate. Now the easiest way to do this is definitely with no pop. I've brought this up before in tip videos, but if you think about the way the Shove-it works, the board wants to pivot on those 2 wheels that you're doing the Shove-it off of. So naturally the board travels behind you. So if you're rolling fakie, this is actually perfect because it travels directly to where your feet need to go. So for a lot of people, the Fakie Shove is actually much easier than a regular Shove-it. You literally just give it a little boop with your scooping foot and then jump back on. Before we get into the next trick, I know a great way for you guys to get some extra cash and gift cards, such as Amazon gift cards, and it is called Swag Bucks. I don't even need to do much for this sponsorship because my 10-year-old self is gonna take it away.
Sign up in the description because Swag Bucks is really cool and you could get free stuff.
I actually used Swag Bucks when I was a kid and I got a lot of free stuff from it. You can watch videos, play games, take research surveys, or shop online in order to earn rewards. If you click the link in my description, they will literally give you $5 just like that for completing your first survey. Thank you Swag Bucks for sponsoring this video. Link is in the description. All right, we got some homies pulling up. What's good, guys?
Hi. Yo.
How you doing? All right, one by one, say your name.
My name's Charlie. What's my Instagram? Harry.
Sure, but it does.
At Peter Baldwin.
I don't think most people like type it in, but.
Yeah, I know, but some people.
What's your name?
Otis.
Cool to meet you guys. With the Brooklyn homies. Hell yeah. Anybody got a fakie trick?
Yeah, Fakie Bigspin.
All right, do it. Oh, you got him the hard way. That was Steez. That was Steez. You alright? The next trick is the half cab, and I'm not gonna lie, I like to finesse this one, give it a little tweak. This is one of my favorite tricks just to pull off while I'm cruising around the skate park and I need to switch back to regular. But the way I actually learned this trick is by doing just barely even popping the board, if at all, and then just catching it and pivoting it the rest of the way around. I definitely recommend trying it out this way if you want to learn how to half cab. And the half cab is where one of these important like weight tips comes into play, because a lot of times when I see people trying to learn how to half cab at the skate park, they're leaned way too far over the front, and it's this same tendency that messes up a lot of your fakie tricks. I'm always trying to tell it to people at the skate park, so hopefully I can articulate this well. If you're like leaning too far forward, you're just gonna continue to topple over the front of the board and you're not gonna pull off the half cab. But if you're perfectly centered and square over the board, I even like to open up this shoulder because it gives me a better view of my skateboard. And then, I mean, you still have to push down to pop the board, but once you pop, you're leveling out just like that Fakie Ollie. It's almost like this pop and then you start shifting your weight back. That is what gives you control over the half cab, as opposed to teetering to your front side, hop, shift back. That gives you so much control. If you get that right, you're gonna be looking at the board. You're gonna know exactly what to do. Either put that wheel down and pivot the rest of the way. It's a very natural pivot to make. That's what makes this trick so easy. Or if you're comfortable, you can just go all the way around. The next trick is the Fakie Bigspin, and for a lot of people, this is the first trick that they land and they're like really freaking stoked about it because it's doing a lot of stuff before you land back onto it, and it is a cool feeling. Now, extremely important for the Fakie Bigspin is to remember what I said about the half cab. I see so many people who can't pull off this trick because they're just too leaned over on the nose or on the popping foot, and that makes this trick way too hard. But if you take in that tip where it's like this combination of leaning forward on your front foot in order to pop, your upper body is almost back, and that means that when you pop, you start shifting back and you really get to watch the board go. And basically what it is literally a combination of the half cab and the Fakie Shove-it. So if you've learned both of these, just literally try to do a Fakie Shove-it while doing a half cab. You might even land it first try if you just think about it like that. And most people do not pop this trick. I still do not pop my Fakie Bigspin, and it's super natural to pivot this one. So you do that kind of Fakie Shove while you're doing a half cab. Remember to lean back, watch that board, and you can just land right there on the tail and pivot it the rest of the way, just like your half cabs. This is just the next natural trick to do. It's not too hard to learn. Yeah, it's like this pattern with fakie tricks that are going backside. You get this nice view of them and it's super natural. Fakie Bigspin. Okay, now trick number 5 is gonna be where it gets a little more advanced. I had trouble deciding what this trick should be. I went with personally what I think is the 5th easiest fakie trick, but stay tuned for afterwards. We're gonna talk about some bonus tricks and tips. For me, trick number 5 is the half cab flip. So first thing that may have popped in your head, why not the fakie flip? I don't know. I'm so bad at fakie flip and it's hard for me to describe why. They always rocket flip. It's almost like I have this natural tendency to turn backside when I'm doing fakie, or maybe I just need to take my own advice and shift back and level out the board once I pop. I don't know. But let's talk about the half cab flip. So if you have a strong half cab, just try to throw the kick flip into it. I learned this one with a pivot as well. So I was just throwing that kick flip, trying to catch it and turn it the rest of the way. That pivot is just so natural. Again, this is another trick that when I try to show people how to do it at the skate park, there's this huge tendency to lean way too far forward. Throws off the whole mojo of the trick. You have to have that balance of when you pop, you start shifting back, because then you're in this controlled position, ready to catch the board and bring it around. But if you're teetering towards your front foot, you're gonna stay there and the rotation of the trick is not gonna work. So as confusing and weird as it is, try to just stay totally balanced. Almost think about popping out and shifting back. Just like spread it out, get nice and balanced and controlled. I do hope this makes sense, because in my mind, like, I think about this every time I'm popping a fakie trick. You have to shift back. Don't be closed on this shoulder. Don't be too leaning far forward. It's not gonna work. This is, for me, this is the secret. And okay, so I wanted to bring up a bonus trick. This is the one that I was debating whether it should be number 5. So I decided I'd throw it in as well, and it is the full cab. So if you have a strong half cab, particularly a half cab that does the full 180-degree rotation, your momentum is going in the right direction for the full cab. And it's not too hard to figure out how to put your front foot down first when you land and pivot the rest of the way around. So I do encourage you to try this one out. It's definitely a more advanced trick, but it's not too bad, especially if you have that strong half cab already. So something else you could try, a little secret for this trick, is start curving into it. If you curve in this particular way that I'm showing in the video, you actually have to rotate less. You take out some of the rotation that you need to do, which makes it even easier, and it's just like putting your weight in that right place. So I definitely encourage you to try this one out. So yeah, those are the 5 tricks. This was the first last Monday of the month skate. Simple, super simple, easy for me to edit video. I hope you learned something. My goal for these videos is to just inspire you to get out there, hit the skate park. I know a lot of people are doing these types of videos now. I think everyone's perspective on their tricks is really interesting, and yeah, I'm like obsessed with these secrets for fakie tricks, and I have a lot of fun with them. Fakie is a beautiful stance. Some other of my favorites, fakie tray. Take that same concept of the fakie shove, how the board wants to travel backwards. Fakie tray is the first tray flip that a lot of people land before the regular tray flip for that same reason. Fakie big flip is another good one to try out if you've got the fakie big spin. All these tricks, they just flow super naturally because fakie backside is natural. Just remember that lean back tip. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If any of these tips were helpful, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe. I do videos every Friday and now on the last Monday of every month. Take it easy. I just have a question for you guys. Like, do you like money?
I'm sorry it's reversed. It's my webcam. So yeah.
And there's child screaming in the background. There's a bee hanging out at my tripod. That's okay. What's up, bro?